In this video, I'm going to be covering reports. I'm going to go back to the main menu and show you where they come from. If I click on here and go to the main menu, you'll see there's two reports in this particular application. A report for the subassemblies and one for the subassembly parts. And with this, I'll show you the most detailed one, which is the subassembly parts, and explain how it works. Now in the subassembly parts, I'm going to click up on the top record. It first starts out by the lower assembly. And different applications have different ways of supporting the information. Now, in this particular report, it lists the top level drawing, top level information, the assembly level, and then really the body of what's in this particular report is the lower assembly and parts that are a part of the lowest assemblies. And in this particular report, that's what we're trying to capture information from. An additional report, if I looked at the assembly report, would have a different set of numbers and whatever. But this, because it has all of them, it makes a little bit more sense. If you need to find a drawing top level piece of information, you would pick the field, which is this one, and put that information in there to assemble the drawing package down to this level, all the way down to the parts level. So it would take each item and it'd show the top level, the assembly that belongs to, the subassembly, and then the parts within that and what they cost. And it would be broke out in that fashion. Now, this is just an example. It could be any type of a database, and it can be broken down any way you need to as far as the information is concerned. In a lot of cases, say for example, you have invoices and you're selling things to people, you're going to want to know the people you sold it to, the day you sold it, and other information that's important to the actual sales of the items. And in this particular case, it would break it all the way down to the individual line items in a invoice, and they would be in the records in order to show you that information. What does it do for you, the report? It gives you detailed information for a time span, either being a day, week, month, year, quarter, whatever, where you would want to capture information about expenses or income or other items that are related to the actual database report that you're looking at. Reports are the real power in a database system. If you learn how to use those properly and how to manipulate them, you can get yourself really keyed into how to monitor and manage your application. In this particular application, what we're looking at is how to organize if we were doing a proposal or a drawing package that's related to a task or job, that project that's coming up, and we want to organize the actual drawing tree to a specific manner. And in the same way, that same drawing tree can be used in a new main drawing screen where you duplicate the actual drawing package and then break it out in a different way where it's quoted a different way. So that's why this particular database is set up this way. So if I did a find and I wanted to find a certain drawing, I could do this. I want to do it from the top level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the part number on the keyboard. I'm going to copy and paste it into the proper field so it can find what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go into find mode. I'm going to paste it back in, and then I'm going to perform the find. It's that simple. Now in this particular case, in the sample records, I only had one drawing. And then I had only one subassembly, and I only had one part within that, and then it summarizes at the bottom what the cost would be for those items. But picture this if it had 1 to 5,000 parts, and it had several different subassemblies and several part assemblies at the lower level assemblies. I could break it back out and see all the cost drivers and then look at things where I can adjust the price or not adjust the price in a quote that would still keep me within a profit margin, and yet still be able to change the value to be competitive. Or say somebody called me and wanted a modification to a certain part, and they wanted to add an upgrade or a downgrade to it, that I could take and adjust the prices depending upon what the upgrade or downgrade is, and then requote it and show the whole drawing package with a summary total at the bottom of what those items would cost. So these are the kind of things you can do with a report. Now, each report is individual, but the background to that is also how you look at it. For example, if I go to the subassembly and then look at the list view for the subassembly, I could do the same thing where I look at the subassemblies from this screen and look at that particular report. In the subassembly report, what it's basically doing is not down to the parts level, and it's doing an individual drawing total, and I'm doing manufacturer's cost, what it costs to build it, the assembly sell price at what I plan to sell it for, and then the margin that I may make off the entire thing. So you really can use this in a lot of different ways. So a report actually is something, when I design it for somebody, I need their input for the kind of information they're looking for to try to establish their baseline of what they need in order to do their job. So it really is all about a user and the designer and developer of the app putting their heads together and coming up what really focuses on the information that they need to use in a report. So my advice to anybody that's buying one of my apps, I can customize any report to do it exactly what you need it to do within reason. So what you need to do is look at the application on the first part, and then look at the screens as far as reports and the information you want to edit, and then see what tweaks or changes you need to do in order to make it do what you want it to. Thank you for taking this video. If you have any questions, as always, you can get in contact with me on the support site. Thank you.